belts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Make sure you get everything like you want it.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back.
Alrighty, everyone. It's race day here on a Thursday, and time for some super speedway racing. We got to see the trucks tearing it up here Tuesday night with a very Wreckfest-esque performance. Hopefully tonight we don't see as big of a Wreckfest here with the Bridge to Cup, who are just coming off of racing on the inside here. You can see the way that the track's designed with the road course in mind. They had that all with dirt out there, and now it's time for the oval. And 375 miles. This ain't going to be no quick race in the sun. We're going to have a good segment here for everyone to watch. So starting on the front row, you got Ryan Little alongside Adam Starr, who did not start last week, but may very well be looking for a good finish here today in that Subaru. And you got Krista Cower and Gannon Bird right behind them. Craig Bush and Jack Davis. Paul Ladino and Luis Rodriguez. Noah Hobson and Braden Hunt. David Bird and GP Luxembourg. Andrew Moger and Bradley Ream, so the two teammates starting side by side. Roach and the 12 of AJ Kosnoff. Chasey Plays and Anheuser Walkner. Lucas Holmes and Dave Steele Jr. Cannon Gage and Kat Durham. Scott Speed with John Hagen alongside of him. So Hagen won the first race, starting deep in the pack here tonight. Then you've got Alan Malcolm and Jamie Horseman, Santi Messi and Kevin Xavier, Kyler Sustre and Kyle Ottawa, and then at the very back of the field, Osiel Escobar and Rich Roy.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Definitely, I will keep you updated, Centennial, on the progress, how Osiel does tonight. Gonna be a good race here, hopefully. This will be the first time I've actually tried running on the 2020 Daytona. Luckily, Chadwick was able to hook me up with one that has pit stalls capable for 46 entries. We'll figure out the camera angles as we go along here, as I have never used it before. But at least I can press, at the press of a button, change from camera to camera. So, green flag waving, we're off and rolling here at Daytona. This really only kicks off. This is only the midpoint of Speed Weeks here in Daytona, since we had the trucks here just Tuesday night, Bridge to Cup here tonight, and tomorrow with the duels, the Sylvania Cup Series, which will be exciting, as it sounds like we have upwards of about 50 entries for the Sylvania Cup Daytona 500. Ryan Little off to the early lead. Krista Cower peeking on the inside here, about to pull ahead for the lead. 2 by 2 by 2, they come roaring around the front stretch here at Daytona. Craig Bush in the 11. Some of these guys this is a new scenario for most of them, as they've never raced in the Bridge to Cup Series, formerly the Sylvania Busch Light Series. So it's kind of neat seeing the new faces running at the front of the field here. Especially Paul Ladino, who's had a hard time when it comes to trucks. Hasn't put together too many winning performances in trucks, but right there leading the field right now in that yellow number 94. They're starting to bunch up 3 wide throughout the field here. This could spell danger. Hopefully they can keep it clean and avoid causing the big one early tonight. If you're new to the series, the Bridge to Cup obviously is kind of a experimental series this year, where we will have rallycross, superspeedway, road course, dirt short tracks, paved short tracks, paved speedways, paved superspeedways. It's really a who's who of track types that we're going to be challenging everyone on. And it's the best way to do it, too, because these guys are fighting for their right to move up into the Cup Series. And what better way to do that than to prove that you can win on a dirt track, or the combination, of a rallycross and whatnot, where you're on dirt and paved. It's already been proven that in real life these cars can race in the dirt, even though it just sounds funny, seems weird. They put dirt down on Bristol and made these cars race in it, so they're capable of it. Is it necessary? Well, some people might argue that it's gimmicky, but I think that's the fun of it too, is given a larger radius for people to prove themselves, to truly earn their way up into the Cup Series. Oh, and there we go, our first wreck And it's going to be a big one right at the front stretch. It looks like Osiel Escobar spinning out. Minimal damage to that 8 as the cloud of smoke just envelops the front stretch there. Yeah, so it looks like I'm watching the replay on my stream. A lot of the guys at the back slowed up enough that they can drive through it without sustaining too much damage there. This all starts right here. Oh, not quite with Ryan Little, but rather I believe there was a little bit of a bump there from Kevin Xavier pushing the other guys up. 13 gets nearly airborne there. Yeah, so it all really started. The 50 of Jamie Horseman bumps into the 10 of Kevin Xavier there. 4 wide with the rear end of the 50 just getting clipped by the 13. That gathers Roach and Plays as well as Moger. 35 of Steel takes a little bit of damage there. I believe Osiel was just kind of after the fact caught up in this. As you can see, he slid on the front stretch, but I don't think he made much for contact. Yeah, it was getting bunched up there. It was just an accordion effect. The 46 clipped just barely. So Osiel should be fine there. 09 of Jack Davis comes in there and clips the 46. 21, who was on the front row, looks like he's going to have some damage to fight for the rest of the night. Impressive from Kyler Sestre, who was towards the back of the field in qualifying. Can confirm exactly where at he qualified here. From 29th to currently the leader. I might take another lap or two to see truly who's all retired. It looks like the 09 of Jack Davis certainly is retired. And then the 46 and the 66 are taking quite a while to get repairs done. Light's still on the pace car, so we're going to have another lap under caution here. Running order as is: Kyler Sestre leading over Krista Cower, Lucas Holmes, Alan Malcolm, and then the 10 there of Kevin Xavier. So LFG Motorsports running 4th and 5th. Craig Bush, Cannon Gage, Osiel Escobar up here in the top 10. Newcomer Kat Durham also running in the top 10. And you got John Hagen, last week's winner, rounding out that top 10. We'll have to keep an eye on the restarts here to see if there's any significantly damaged vehicles that are going to be slowing up the pace. I believe the 78 there of Moger sustained some damage during the caution, or at least in what brought out the caution. Don't see where the 35 ended up. Looks like Roach is going to return. Okay, so the 35 of Dave Steele Jr. also retired with Jack Davis, and now the 46 retired from the race here. 46, which I believe is, okay, Gannon Bird. I was going to say Craig Popcris, but Popcris is the team owner, not the driver of that 46 here in the series. So lights are off on the pace car. Once they get to the backstretch, we get double filed up here and let them tear down the track once more. So with a few less cars contesting for the win here today, and only 10 laps in the books, we still got 140 laps to go here at Daytona. Pace car pulls off here. And they get going as the green flag waving in the air. Krista Cower off to an edge there on Kyler Sustre. Hopefully they kind of settle in here and put together some clean laps, avoiding too much more carnage here today. Kind of on par with the trucks. At least it was a somewhat smaller wreck. We didn't have complete destruction for the first wreck. It really seemed like a big one, but we still got plenty of cars running after all the dust settled there. Lucas Holmes with a good push here from Kevin Xavier. Lucas Holmes going to take the lead from Krista Cower. And it's starting to look like we might have two groups establishing here. That mid group there is 3 wide. Leader's kind of struggling here into a 3 wide position as well. Gotta imagine LFG Motorsports prides themselves in success, and to have this good of a start here today at Daytona is going to work leaps and bounds to keep this team towards the forefront. That second group not letting the lead group get too far away here, as you can see, led right there by Kyle Ottawa and Luis Rodriguez. They're catching up to the back end of this lead pack, and we might have a bigger fight for the lead here before you know it. Luis Rodriguez, a veteran in the series. He was here last year. Actually, if I did my research, he might have been here for the past 2 years, so perhaps entering his 3rd year of competition here in Bridge to Cup. Still no wins to his name. He's trying, and he's going to keep trying until He hits the nail on the head. Lucas Holmes defending the lead right now over Kat Durham, Craig Bush, and Kyler Sustre. Krista Cower slots back into 5th, but it looks like she wants to take it 3 wide for the position there. Staying above the double yellow line. See Hagen kind of shuffling in the background there in the red car. It's also kind of a neat detail to point out here that a couple of the folks running towards the front here missed the season opener last week and putting in a solid campaign at the front of the field. Those that I'm talking about being Kat Durham in the 6, Krista Cower in the 98. So they're already fighting -1 race to their name here in Bridge to Cup. The only way to stump that is to just run well, get as many points as you can, and erase what you might have, lost in missing that one race. Getting a little bit squirrely at the front here as we've got Kyle Ottawa sneaking into the picture. 3 wide with Paul Ladino at the bottom. This is kind of where we were last time when the caution struck. Three wide, 4 wide, that's going to be pushing it there. They didn't get in any trouble there, so we stay going. Lucas Holmes doing solid, holding off the charges coming from behind. Doesn't look like it's going to be much longer, though. He's going to be able to keep that lead as Noah Hobson in the 22. Lucas Holmes, though, getting a good push in that high groove by the 84 of GP Luxembourg. But that bottom line is going to prevail here as Bradley Ream gives a good push to the 22. Unfortunately for Roach, we're going to have to send you packing today here. The pace is just not there for the 66 after sustaining enough damage in the first caution. Hopefully we don't get a huge pile up here as they close in on the lap traffic. If the AI is smart, it'll stay low here and pull to the pits. Fortunately, we might just get a big pile up here. That was not what I wanted. I should have probably held off on doing the DQ, but oh no, it's gonna put an end to the day for Rich Roy, it looks like. I should have been paying closer attention up to the front of the field, out farther front to make sure that that didn't happen, but just a couple more cars that are gonna, now this next time I'm seriously not gonna let it get that far along. We'll have to nip that in the butt before it gets that far along. try to figure out just how many cars got messed up here. So maybe the 26, yeah, the 26 and the 11. You're gonna get a lot of damage there. Fortunately, the 26, who was running towards the front, that's gonna be a hard hit for him. Don't see much damage on the 12. I think it might have been mostly a spin. Yeah, that's just a spin. Yet again, wreck avoidance for the most part has been A+ with the AI at this one. Like I said, this is more of an experiment. I haven't run on this Daytona before. Wow, that was close. Asiel Escobar catching up to the chaos after the fact. Didn't make any contact there, but it definitely made you a little bit scared when you see that closing rate on the slower cars in front of him. Okay, we're getting back to racing. I went ahead and expedited our caution so that we only had a couple laps under caution. Double file, pace car pulling off this time as everyone gets caught back up to the lead. Kevin Xavier and Adam Starr lead them to the restart here. Wow, Xavier off to one hell of a jump there. Unfortunately, getting that big of a jump is going to be a blessing and a curse because the rest of the draft is going to catch him like a sitting duck. So let this stand as a moment that I knew better, and I knew very well that I could have avoided making that last caution happen. We've learned this before, that you have to DQ once the lap leaders catch and pass the AI that has slowed way down. And I thought, man, maybe, just maybe, it's going to be close. It was so slow, though, that they caught up before he could even get to the bottom lane. So far on par for about a caution every 10 laps right now. So hopefully we can make it to a little further than 10 at a pop here. Do the backfield check just to see. Looks like we got to DQ the 13 here. There's no way. Yeah, no, 54. He's full 6 seconds off the pace, so. Now Braden Hunt here, still within the draft. Once they get across the finish line, yeah, he's within. So we still got about 24 cars here with a decent pace running in the field. Noah Hobson leads over Anheuser-Wagner. And there we go, Bradley Ream to the lead. Impressive run from Ream. It's kind of funny, the battles that we've seen with Atlee Weiss and Ewan What Army, and at the front of the field fighting for the race here today. Their team, obviously Atlee, synonymous with the number 19, our 2023 Sylvania Cup champion, and Ewan What Army, and the number 1 was the runner-up. So kind of neat seeing the comparisons here with them and their team cars fighting it out with each other. Santi Messi looks like he's lost the draft here. We'll give him a couple laps. Meantime, your lead group looks to be about 15 strong. One right off the edge of the draft there is the 8 of Osiel Escobar. Escobar sitting in 20th right now. The first one at the tail end of the lead draft here. A little bit of luck, he might be able to catch back up, but it looks like he's going to be struggling to keep pace with the leaders. But with still 18 cars, all with a solid shot here today. Still a little bit more, over more than half in the fight here. 78 of Moger joining the party at the tail end of the draft. Trying his best not to lose the draft overall. If he drops to 4 seconds, we will DQ. If he's 52 to his best, yep. So unfortunately for Santi Messi, sustained enough damage here today that he will be sent packing. Looks like he'll finish 24th today. Chase he plays has a chance to still stay alive as long as he doesn't go over 6 seconds, or 4 seconds rather, under the pace. Xavier back to the lead here with a good push from Cannon Gage. Cannon Gage, one of the few flying the Cadillac colors out there. Him and his teammate Gannon Bird in the 46. The only 2 Cadillacs contesting for the championship here in Bridge to Cup. I think that's one of the fun things here with the Bridge to Cup this season is the variety that we've got of manufacturers. I mean, you got Hyundai, you got Audi, Mazda, BMW, Dodge, Cadillac, Toyota, or rather, not Toyota, but Honda. And with that in mind, we might see some of these. The 27 of Adam Starr just dumps someone there. Couldn't tell which car that was. Wow, the 65 of Anheuser-Wagner. That looked pretty deliberate the way it transpired there. Just clips the inside. They take a quick run through the grass there. Fortunately for Wagner, it didn't end up hitting anything. He's able to recover and rejoin the field here with the second group. Adam Starr didn't lose nearly as much ground there. So perhaps some beef between Adam Starr and Anheuser-Wagner. Starr didn't lose the lead draft. He's still right there with the lead crew. Right now, John Hagen fighting for the lead against Cannon Gage. It's not getting any easier at the front of the field here, as they're still stacked up 3 by 3 by 3, fighting for the lead position. Right now, Noah Hobson taking the lead away from Cannon Gage. That top line is kind of deteriorated at the moment. Kevin Xavier with a good push from Scott Speed. Oh, and then we get a good push here from Alan Malcolm and Krista Cower. Krista with an opportunity to take the lead away. Alan Malcolm blocking the advances behind him as Hagen started to get the momentum. Malcolm in the wrong spot there as he gets overhauled by Adam Starr, pushing Bradley Ream up to second there. There we go. As long as we can make it without too many more wrecks, I think this could potentially end up being a good race here today. From spinning out Anheuser-Wagner to now taking the lead, there's Adam Starr in the 27. Wagner's going to need a little bit of good luck to get back into the fight here today, as he's lost that lead draft. Moger's still just kind of, I think Moger's got the plan of just trying to survive and watch the field in front of him. He's riding right there at the cusp of losing the draft, but keeping right at the back that he can stay there and not lose any momentum. That might be a huge key here today. Simply keeping yourself out of any potential hazardous scenarios, but also not putting yourself laps down because you've lost the lead draft. What's been impressive is how we've seen people that can get to the front and hold that lead for numerous laps. From my experience with Daytona tracks in NR, that it gets hard for someone to sustain consistent lead because it's just a revolving door. But however they made this track up, they did really good at kind of combating that revolving door theory. Because we saw Adam Starr up front lead for about 3 consecutive laps there, which is more realistic to the way it should be. The Daytonas I've ran before, it'd be a lead change every lap, which is mildly unrealistic. Because in a 150 lap race, you would see 90 lead changes, which is just absurdly crazy. And here we go, new leader, at least leading again, Krista Cower. Jamie Horseman in the 90 there. See how long Krista can hold the lead. GP Luxembourg in the 84 there with the fastest lap so far. is caught up to second. Krista Kauer goes up high, and it might end up costing her the lead for the time being, as they're now 3 wide for the lead. There goes Luis Rodriguez with a push from Noah Hobson. Since those initial 2 cautions, we've seen pretty close combat here at the front. Chasey Plays will get the DQ flag here, and will come down before causing any kind of chaos with the lead. Oh, please don't do this. I did. So even when I do it right, NR wants to do me wrong. If it's looking hairy, I might throw a competition caution, or a safety caution more so, just so that How did I miss the window to actually get him? Okay, yeah, he's gonna come down pit road before even being a hazard. So, but geez, Louise, that was too close for comfort there. So much for a black flag if they don't adhere to it. So Kat Durham leading the way right now with Kyler Sestre in second. Fighting alongside Sestre, the 94 Ladino. 3 by 3 by 3. Here comes John Hagen with a good push from Cannon Gage. Ooh, 4 wide with Hagen in the middle. That's going to be a wreck, folks. Ooh, it's going to be a wreck. How did they not wreck there? Hagen avoided almost certain death at that point. And they continue without causing a big one. Hagen might have did that on purpose, who knows? Trying to ruffle some feathers out there at 190 miles an hour. Just trying to keep everyone on their feet, maybe. What a turn of events, though, as it gets him the lead, pushing a couple other guys that were at the front towards the back. So if you haven't gotten tired of Daytona yet, we do have one more week of Daytona with the Bridge to Cup Series next week, as they will be tackling the Daytona road course. So it'll be obviously 3 different facets of Daytona. It'll be 100 miles at the Daytona road course, kind of like I believe it'd be the same layout as the 24 Hours of Daytona. But we'll see these cars hit the track at Daytona one more time before we say sayonara. And then after that, it's off to Boise International for the Idahoan Rally Grand Prix, which will be set by 2 heats of 25 laps and a field of 20 for the main 150 lap event. So the way we'll be doing is heats. Everyone will still make points all the way back to 32nd, but only the top 20 will run the main event for all the high paying points and big bucks. There will be a brief period of off time for all series. here in February. You won't notice too much of a break, but especially the Cup after the Daytona 500, they will have 20 days off until we come back to race at North Wilkesboro on Leap Day, or I guess February 29th, since it's a leap year this year. Trucks will race on February 13th at Fontana. That same week we'll be doing the Boise International, which might actually get pushed forward a little bit due to scheduling. So we might do that one the same day as the Tuesday trucks. I guess more will be determined at a later date, but just a notification that the scheduling is a little bit tweaked in the next couple weeks here. So especially the fact that originally I was just going to run the Daytona 500, but got the idea to put together a couple extra entries that we could put in a full Daytona Speed Weeks kind of style duels and the 500 for this weekend. So like I've mentioned already, the duels tomorrow. Get it all staged and prepped tonight so it's ready for tomorrow. And then Saturday, the Daytona 500 with the Sylvania Cup Series. So the update for Centennial, it seems that Osiel Escobar is in that second pack and has definitely lost contact with the lead group. Osiel does have drafting partners in the 4 of Braden Hunt and the 12 of Cat Durham, or rather AJ Kosnoff, not Cat Durham. Durham's in the 6, Cat Durham in the 6, AJ Kosnoff in the 12. Anheuser-Walkner is about to get caught by the leaders, and who knows, we might see him exact his revenge on Adam Starr. I don't believe the AI is that intelligent, but you never know. Crazier things have happened in NR 2003. Cat Durham and Noah Hobson side by side for the lead. Man, Hagen still 3 wide. He's going to be a loose cannon all year, it seems like. People are going to be afraid to race alongside him because it could mean certain doom. Hagen working his way to the lead here. But how are they going to catch the lap traffic? I'm not going to DQ the 65 as he still really has a fast car that could contend for a win here today. Kind of interesting that the fastest lap really hasn't changed any. GP Luxembourg still holding that fastest lap. Cannon Gage, Alan Malcolm. Now going to catch the 65 of Walkner here. Hopefully this goes over well. Gage goes high. Alan Malcolm stays low. Sestre goes high. Now the draft will have to be a factor here to help the 65 get back up to speed. Since his car's not damaged, he should be able to get right back into the draft here and be a contender to fight for his lap back. There we go. See, that's the way it's supposed to work. Often doesn't. And it seems like we're going to remain without any carnage there. So good racing by everyone involved to not just freight train the 65. Impressive 2024 debut for Adam Starr and Krista Cower with Star Syndicate Racing Industries. We've seen some glimpses of brilliance from Krista Cower in the trucks. It's just been, and then even Adam Starr has been consistent. Not putting together the wins quite yet in the trucks, but even with the campaign in 2023, he was contender for top 5s, top 10s all year long. Adam Starr, a veteran of the Bridge to Cup series, has been in it since the first year, and finally looks like getting all the right pieces in the right places. 27 and 98 looking strong here today. And just like that, we're 1/3 of the way through the race here today. 50 laps of the 150 to be contested. At the rate we're going, we might see green flag pit stops before long. And not sure how that's going to shake things up. In my series, I don't do stage racing. I'm not afraid to throw competition caution if it's needed. Pretty much in the name of entertainment, as long as it keeps the race exciting and doesn't totally manipulate the outcome. That's kind of my goal, is to use it but not abuse it. But part of me is really hoping, with our green flag pit stops on the horizon here, that they can somehow sort it out and come back on track just like this. We know that we've got 18 cars here in the lead pack. It's going to be hard for them to stay all packed together with pit stops. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the drone cam for now and leave us with a crank it up. Go ahead and step away for a brief moment. Oh, and as soon as I tried to do that, the 21 and the 24 make contact. Hopefully this don't. Oh, and the 24 rejoins the track there, collecting a good chunk of the field in the process. That was dangerous, the way that he just drove right into the side of Adam Starr. I don't know how bad the damage is on the 27. As you can see, he just clips the tail end of Adam Starr here. That collects the 94 of Paul Ladino. Honestly, Adam Starr might not have a whole lot of damage. The way it spun, it kind of avoided... Ooh, that was going to be a hard hit, though, from the 10 of Xavier. I think that's just tire smoke, so Adam Starr is going to be able to drive it off. But that was probably the hardest hit there. Those two sustained. Krista Cower partially involved in this one as well. Seems like she just rode the high line here. Kind of got clipped into the wall. So we'll have to see just how many of those hits are going to hurt these drivers. But, like I was mentioning, I'm going to go ahead and step away for a brief moment here. Give you the drone cam so you got a little bit of a different angle. And watch the pit stops. And I'll be back as soon as possible. Okay, back I am. So it's kind of nice having a couple years under our belts that we have these storylines that start developing and whatnot. It's really fun to get more, content, more stories, more everything just to speculate and consider. And one of those interesting storylines has been the 88 of John Hagen, who kind of showed up out of nowhere. We all knew the USA trucks that it was like Chevy could never get a win. And the funny part is, with Hagen just kind of coming out of nowhere, he hops into a Chevy and does the unthinkable by winning the first win for Chevy in the USA trucks after what was probably about 70 races contested in the USA trucks. That Chevy finally got one notch in that win category. The funny thing is, it still stands right now that Chevy only has one win in the USA trucks. And now we got Hagen, because of his success moving through the ranks. He's on his way here in the Bridge Cup, series, trying to prove himself. And it's just a matter of time before we see someone like Hagen up in the Cup Series. He has confirmed that he's going to make a one-off start, try and attempt to make the Daytona 500 tomorrow. The way the process will go, we'll do qualifying, and then we'll set the field for the two duels. Top two qualifiers will be locked in on speed, just like real life, and the duels will kind of set the rest of the stage for Saturday's event. So looks like kind of a scattered field right now, but impressively, Asiel Escobar gained some positions there during the caution period, sitting in the top 5. Perhaps if he gets to drafting with some good draft partners, maybe he can stick with the fight here. But unfortunately, it just doesn't look like that 8 car is drafting very well. He's kind of holding up the group there behind him. Yeah, the 22 of Noah Hobson's going to give up on Asiel Escobar. Escobar's main hopes here is that he can somehow stay with the lead draft this time, unlike the previous stint where he fell off far from the lead. Kind of wonky to think about that maybe, I don't know if maybe a little bit of karma came back to strike the 27 there of Adam Starr. As you can see, the 65 is now in front of Adam Starr, whom got just nearly wrecked out of the race by the 27 dumping him. But now Adam Starr, with the damage sustained during that last wreck, trailing behind this lead pack. And Anheuser-Wagner with a revitalized sense of action here, hoping to get back into the mix. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a new group of cars to keep our eyes on to make sure that they're maintaining adequate race pace. Some new faces at the front now, as we've got Noah Hobson pushing Kyle Ottawa to the lead. Scott Speed as well, fighting in the top 5. Braden Hunt lost the draft earlier in the race. Looked like he was potentially at risk of going a lap down. And now Braden Hunt is a contender here. Oofty, Xavier's sitting about 4 seconds off the pace. Give him a couple laps in case there's a caution, but unfortunately, this trio looking like there might not be much more racing here today for them. Well, even with the caution, we still have about 18 cars fighting for it here. Even Asiel Escobar still keeping really close to the back bumper of this lead draft. Looks like he's hooked up on the front end of the 98 there. Krista Kauer giving him a good push to get back up to the front. Yet again, Moger continuing to be kind of the surprise factor here. He hasn't shown a whole lot of pace. He's not trying to take the lead. He's simply just holding serve in the back of the field there. Reminds me of some of the races I think often Dale Jr. or kind of the Hendrick crew would do. They would hold off at the back of the field until the last stint of a super speedway race, just to, that would have been prior to even stage racing. Obviously stage racing's totally messed up the strategy of super speedway racing, but if you think about it, you know, so many of these you might not have a caution. You could go green flag for quite a while before you get that wreck, and trying to be too safe, you could get swallowed up by the leaders and go laps down if you weren't careful. This has given Osiel Escobar kind of a resurgence of sorts too, to keep up with the leaders. He's improved his position, currently running 15th, still with the lead draft. Noah Hobson leading the way here over Kyler Sestre. Now it's going to be time to reconvene with our lap traffic. Paul Ladino running a 51. Kevin Xavier running a 51. Adam Starr running a 52. We do have a caution right now. Ooh, we missed it at the front of the field. Looks like Cannon Gage. Ooh, there's a lot more. 4 wide. That's where it started, right there. So, you've got the 1 of Malcolm, Cannon Gage, and the 81 of Ottawa. That collects the 6 of Durham, the 90 of Jamie Horseman. Really doesn't look to be that bad, as everyone's mostly just spinning, not much contact with the wall. And 90 spins out. Impressive recovery here from Jamie Horseman. Makes a full 360 and gets the grip going back in the forward direction. See, I could deal with this. If we get just small, minute wrecks, we can keep, you know, there's a lot of people still staying alive for this. This allows Adam Starr and a couple of the others to possibly make some changes, maybe adjustments or repairs if they can to the damage on their cars, and perhaps get back in a position to where they could still fight for a decent finish here today. The bad news on this part is they didn't have anyone retire from this caution, so it's not like they're going to gain spots due to the attrition of anyone with wrecks like that. But they definitely won't get disqualified if they can ride those cautions as long as possible. Okay, brief pause here as we're going to save the replay where it's at. Just because if I don't save them, I might lose the first segment of the race. So another caution. We've seen 4 cautions so far. And honestly, it's been great racing even with minimal retirements here today. This already leaps and bounds better than the Eastern Division truck race we just had on Tuesday, where we saw more than half the field wrecked out before even halfway in the race. I think there's only like 10 trucks that finished running altogether. And there are more trucks, but even with less cars here today, yeah, this is gonna be setting up for a good Daytona Speed Weeks with the Sylvania Cup tomorrow. Go ahead and remove one pace lap here so the lights will go off on the pace car this next time. So midpoint, still about 8 laps away. Retired out of the race, we've got the 46 of Gannon Bird, the 09 of Jack Davis, the 35 of David Steele Jr. Dave Steele Jr. had a good first race, so it's going to hurt him in the point standings to have a 30th place finish here today. Roach, 29th. The 29 of Rich Roy, 28th. And then you've got Lucas Holmes there with Craig Bush, David Bird, and Santi Messi all out of the race here. 49 of Chasey Plays. And then currently only one car, one lap down, the 65 here of Walkner. Everyone else, 21st on, still on the lead lap. You're going to get double filed here. Scott Speed holds the lead. Kyler Sestre in second. Behind them, you got Noah Hobson and John Hagen. Braden Hunt, got to give him credit for a resounding rebound here. An astounding rebound, man. If I didn't speak, I wouldn't make sense, I guess. Pace car's off and the green flag right ready to wave. Looks like a better restart this time for the 8 of Osiel Escobar, not looking like a sinking rock. Keeping right there with the lead crew. Perhaps the difference was starting on the high side versus the low side. But Escobar now under attack by Alan Malcolm for position. Alan Malcolm forcing it 4 wide on the backstretch. The 12 just making contact there with Ryan Little. AJ Kosnoff and Ryan Little the meat the sandwich there as Hagen's riding the high line. Looks like things could settle out here. Back to 3 wide at least. Ooh, the one of Malcolm gets pushed low. Now we're back to 4 wide again. Doesn't seem like there's much of a safety buffer for anyone here. Hagen tried to cut down there, but Osiel Escobar was already there. Noah Hobson cruising out front with the lead. Alan Malcolm from nearly getting wiped out 4 wide, now fighting for second. Nice thing today too, most of the wrecks have been seemingly organic, apart from them almost all happening right there after the start finish line. The one, I mean, by organic, I mean it just seems unpredictable rather than, you know, a track designed flaw that they're going to keep wrecking in the same spot. There's one track I know for sure that I've had to drop from the series because of the habitual wrecking in the same exact spot on the track almost without fail was Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, the Canadian road course, and it would have been right at the last stint of the track before you come towards the last turn that takes you on the straightaway with the start finish line. They would always spin out and lose control and go slide through the grass and just slam the tire barrier, and most of the time it would retire them because it was just so hard of a hit, and it almost happened, you know, every 5 laps. It seemed like no matter what, it was just a flaw in the track design. So that's usually what I'm looking for when it comes to testing and figuring out if track's a good fit, making you know, mental notes of all these things. There's some tracks that I just don't plan on straying from, even if they make new ones and release them. I've noticed that I've got probably one of the best Pocono. I think it's a 2010 revamped, reloaded Pocono track that has put on great shows every time. And the fun part about it is it's unpredictable because you might have a fuel mileage race. I think at Pocono alone, I've had probably about 4 races decided by fuel mileage in the last 15 years. And it kind of actually is realistic to a degree because the size and shape, just the obscurity of Pocono, that it always tends to lend itself to, you know, more of a road course style race. And you do see that in real life at Pocono as well. Not in recent years, due in part to the darn chase system or the you know, stage racing and whatnot. Man, it'd be nice, so much nicer if they could go back to no stage racing. But the latter would be that they would just start throwing bogus debris cautions. So I don't know. Yeah, no, it is a bummer because I really liked hosting races at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And what races, even if you just kind of ignored the fact that they wrecked in the same spot every 5 laps, the ones that had the better ratings would often not wreck. So it really, I mean, even some of the best ones would wreck too, but usually the ones that were left running by the end were usually your top drivers and whatnot. And if I was enough of a Sherlock Holmes, I would probably try to figure out or get to the bottom of what part of the INI file would resolve that problem. I just don't really know I don't know, you know. There's a lot with those, and it's more like a guess and shoot because you never know what tweaks you're going to make if the track becomes completely undrivable, or if you actually do make progress on tweaking this, tweaking that. You might make something that makes it so that cars just drive the hail melon around the track. So we just got past halfway here today. 75 laps to go. And still sitting with about 10 cars at a shot at winning it here tonight. Haven't missed a whole lot with the severity of our cautions. We've had 4 cautions. The first one was probably the most severe, as we almost saw the 13 of David Bird go for a tumble. But since then, it's pretty much just been spinners and minimal damage for most of the cars involved in the wrecks here today. But even minimal damage can be huge when you're talking aerodynamics here at the Superspeedway. Did at one point have about 18 cars with a solid shot to win it, but that's been whittled down to about 14 here. Still really impressive for a Superspeedway to have that many in the fight. So I'm sorry for Kevin Xavier, but it looks like I wish I had a relative to the leader. Where are the leaders? Just now entering turn 3. Man, I don't feel right doing it, but with the pace you're running, you're not going to have a shot at winning it today. So DQ the number 10. And then on to next week at the road course, perhaps maybe a little bit more luck will shine. The 94 and the 27 struggling almost as badly. He's coming, yep, they're going to catch up to him before long. And we'll give Adam Starr and Paul Ladino at least another lap or 2. But Xavier's going to finish the day in 21st. Hagen back to the lead here. Seems that Osiel Escobar has lost the lead draft once again here. But even after losing the lead draft, still decent running order in 16th. If the second group can get paired together, perhaps they can stay alive and avoid losing a lap here today. Because the amount of cars we have left running at the front, I don't know if we're going to see nearly as many wrecks coming to the close of this one. So it's still pretty early in the game here to talk points. But based on where they're running right now, I'm going to give a rundown on point standings. Obviously, Hagen with the points lead after winning the first race. His closest contender, the 24 of Kyler Sustre. So those two are really kind of cementing their place as the perennial contenders for the championship early on in the season here. Dave Steele Jr., like I mentioned, that's going to be a hard hit for him as he was sitting 3rd in the points with a spectacular run at the rallycross track. And perhaps we'll see more of him when it comes to dirt. I have a feeling that that might be his wheelhouse. Obviously, it's a test for everyone to try out, you know, going from rallycross to super speedway, then to a road course, all in consecutive fashion. And so today just was not the day for Dave Steele, who's probably going to drop outside the top 10 would be my guess. They might get in a bit of a bunch here. They stay going forward, but 4 wide now for the lead as Alan Malcolm pushing the envelope there. Braden Hunt giving him a push. The 12 of AJ Kosnoff as well gaining some momentum towards the front. Also bummer for Kevin Xavier. It's good that he was able to run as long as he did. Mid-pack finish here today, it'll definitely stink, but it's definitely better than finishing dead last, as his 4th position in the points will probably suffer a little bit there. But behind him, Chasey plays in 5th, already out of the race before he did. Cannon Gage, I believe, out of the race? Nope, Cannon Gage still in the mix. So Gage has a solid chance to move up in the point standings. He'll definitely get by Chasey Plays and Kevin Xavier for position, as he's in this lead pack right there, about 7th or 8th. Jamie Horseman, 7th. David Bird, 8th. David Bird's going to drop. Rich Roy is going to drop. Those two sit in 8th and 9th. But then you got Braden Hunt. Hunt sitting in 10th and still running in this race in the top 10. Top 5 as it is right now. Now we're going to have to keep our eyes on the lead duo here. Good part is I think we'll be able to let them set the stage for when we give them the flag. They'll be able to hold up the traffic here, and we'll let everyone get by them. There we go. And seems like the leaders have matched pace with the slower traffic in front of them. This still could be a pretty hairy situation, as they're going to try as hard as they can to get around these slower cars with very little wiggle room. This is where we get to see just how badly these two cars are damaged as they get bunched up here. They're having to cut rank. They're going to lose a portion of the draft here, it looks like, as Noah Hobson, John Hagen, Scott Speed, Kat Durham, and GP Luxembourg stretching it out there. Luxembourg still with the fastest lap here today, so that's an impressive stat. Obviously, super speedway racing is all about speed, so Luxembourg doing something right. There we go. They have made it by the lap traffic without causing a caution. So they'll be running one lap down, and they'll be safe from the black flag for now. The only reason I gave them a chance is they were in a pair. They still ran a 50 even with the draft there, so. Now the rest of the field's going to have to play catch up here after the lap traffic strung them out. Now it looks like Bradley Ream might be the subject topic here, as our leaders start to close in on Ream. Ream's going pretty much slower than he should be. We'll let this pan out, but I think we'll have to DQ him since he yeah, we gotta wait now. It's too late. but like I did with the other two, we'll give it at least a glance. $170 to their $190. This could be treacherous for the leaders here. At least if he gets stuck up high, there might be a chance that they just blow by him with ease here. Now that draft is going to hurt. It's going to hurt the draft of this lead pack to get around the 19. Alan Malcolm fighting with Noah Hobson for the lead right there. Hagen goes low. The only two left that need to fight for the position is Cannon Gage and Sestre. It looks like we're going to get through this with the pack still all bunched up. So unfortunately for Ream, that pace just is not going to cut it. It's bad enough that this second group is running faster than these two. So we'll have to DQ the 94 and the 27 next just so that we can tie up any loose ends here. Yeah, this secondary group could put together a promising end of the race if they get some cautions to go their way. They're definitely down on pace, but with a little bit of luck and determination, they could still fight for a win here today as long as the cookie crumbles their direction. So back to the front here, and a few different things have happened at the front as you got Alan Malcolm now leading over John Hagen. 3 wide for third with Cannon Gage on the low side there. Cat Durham in the middle. Noah Hobson on the high side. Kyler Sestre still right there. The one unfortunate, one of the ones that we were talking about that was looking like they were trying to play the strategy, Moger might need a caution to get back into this one as he's part of that second group now. 49.381. Yeah, so they're running about a second faster at the front field here. 48s to their 49s. Let's put into perspective just how fast Luxembourg's fast lap was. He turned a 47.625. Match that up, let's say, with John Hagen, who turned a 47.863. So it's actually sustainably faster. Scott Speed's fastest lap's been a 48.1, so he definitely hasn't had near the speed some of these other guys have. Ooh, 51 Cannon Gage gets squeezed there. Hopefully he rejoins a clean rejoin from the 51, and we stay going. Yeah, Cannon Gage fastest lap a 48.1. So that's significant for GP Luxembourg. The only problem is the duration of the race so far is those tires have started to war and the car itself starts to wear down a little bit, that you can't really find that speed again. So, update if you're listening still, Osiel Escobar is still alive, still running. Currently in about 16th. Needs a little bit of luck to go his way to get back with the lead pack. Our lead pack of about 12 still fighting strong here. A lot of good racing. We're about 2/3 of the way through the race here as we're closing in on 50 to go in just 5 laps time. Oh, we've got a caution? Nope, nope. That was miscue. I did not see. It's impressive that we still haven't seen any green flag pit stops in the race here today. We had cautions fall at perfect opportunities to keep this race pretty much without any green flag pit stops. The rate they're going, we might see green flag pit stops, but just my luck, I probably cursed it, and we might get a caution here sooner than later. Twelfth place, the 12 of Kosnoff. Looks like he's starting to lose ground here with the lead draft. Running 183. Man, it's close, but if he can't keep it up, he might fall off and lose ground to this lead group here. His best friend is when they start to get shuffling there in front of him. The more shuffling, the less speed they're putting down, and that allows him to close the gap and get back into it. There we go, first round of green flag pit stops with Scott Speed pulling down pit road. So far, just one taker. That's going to be hard for Scott Speed to go down pit road all alone. Just a single car pit stop. That's going to be hard getting back on track without any drafting partners. Just like that, Kosnoff starting to close the gap here, getting back within the lead draft. But who's next on this round of pit stops? Who are we going to have taken? No takers this lap around from the lead pack. Noah Hobson leads the way. 3 wide for second. You've got the 1 of Alan Malcolm taking second place away. It looks like Kyler Sustre getting shuffled up a little bit there. And that might be the 95 of Scott Speed. Yeah, Scott Speed rejoining at the front of the lead pack here. He's either going to be able to get a draft and minimize time lost from his pit stop, or he's seriously going to get into the struggle territory here going a lap down. Howdy Al, welcome in. You're tuning in at just the right time to see the last stint of the race here, as we've only got 49 laps to go. First round of green flag pit stops in tonight's race. 95 there of Scott Speed, about going a lap down right here. There's going to be some more takers down pit road as we've got Hagen along with the 81 of Ottawa and the 51 of Gage. Osiel still holding on with the second group here, along with Andrew Moger, Luis Rodriguez, and Jamie Horseman. Luis Rodriguez coming down pit road, make his green flag pit stop here. There we go, more pit stops underway as you got Braden Hunt, Kat Durham, and Alan Malcolm coming down pit road. As well as Kosnoff. There we go. Hagen catches back up to him, and this is your lead pack once again. Hagen now fighting for the lead from Braden Hunt. What was about 12 cars, looks like we've got 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. So we lost a couple more from the lead draft, but didn't lose a whole lot as we had 12 and now just down to 9 in the lead group. Looks like Kosnoff is far off the pace there. Can't engage. That's a bummer. He was within the fight for the win and has lost significant amount of the draft. And that's where our second group starts to show some glimmers of hope here, that when the others start to fall off, they can start getting more positions and better their position by the end of the race. Jamie Horseman 13th, Osiel Escobar 14th, Andrew Moger 15th, Luis Rodriguez 16th. So Krista Cower unfortunately is the worst of this second group, and I do believe she sustained some damage earlier in the caution that ultimately dampered Adam Starr's day as well. But here we go. Hagen at the front, Braden Hunt in second. And things are starting to settle into who's going to fight for the win here tonight. Kudos to everyone that has stuck it out this long. Obviously, these races are a tad on the longer side. Daytona is one of those tracks where I just didn't want to cut any corners. You got to put in a full-length race for Daytona. Going forward, my races, I'm trying to trim them back so that they're in smaller, more digestible portions, a little bit more streamer-friendly, a little bit more viewer-friendly, so that the action is more jam-packed. Ultimately, I couldn't have asked for a better race here tonight, as you still have 10 cars within the fight for the win here. 100 laps in with 50 laps to go. That's perfection right there. Yeah, 10 cars. Still 18 cars on track, but 10 of them with a solid shot at winning here tonight. 2 of which are not much of a surprise, with the likes of Hagen and Kyler Sustre. But intriguingly, Scott Speed's in the mix here, Braden Hunt, Kyle Ottawa, and even the newcomer there in the Honda entry of Kat Durham, all with a solid shot at winning it here tonight. And I'm just glad that it doesn't look like I'm going to have to throw competition caution for any reason, because even with green flag pit stops, the best of the best still rise to the top here. I'm impressed that the 95 of Scott Speed was able to pit on his own, rejoin the track with no drafting help, and still managed to stay on this lead draft here. Whatever he did, he found the right method. He got the most speed out of it without a draft. And here he is, trying to take the lead away from John Hagen. About to be 3 wide with Noah Hobson on the low side here. Man, would that be the shits if we had a wreck with the lead top 10. Imagine someone like Osiel Escobar could still find a way to steal this race tonight. You never know. Crazy things can and always tend to find their way into these races, especially since NR is involved. Krista Cower about to go a lap down here. I do believe she's already a lap down. Nope, not yet. She's last car on the lead lap. 4 wide at the finish line there. They get a little bit of bump, but stay going forward. The 24 and the 4 definitely made contact there. But this is where you need to try and kind of reserve yourself and not try to push the envelope until you get a little bit closer to the single digits left in the race. We still got 38 laps left to go here. There's no reason to push the envelope fighting on the 38th lap of the race, or the 113th lap of the race with 37 to go. Lap traffic of Krista Cower is going to help Kat Durham catch back up here. Ooh, the 88 of Hagen having a hard time getting around Krista here. Alan Malcolm is going to get by. Kat Durham is going to get by. And Hagen desperately needing to find an opening to get around this 98 car, as he could be at risk of losing the lead draft here shortly. They're not very organized at the front though, so this might not be the end of the world for Hagen, but it's definitely not helping his case. And perhaps Krista's actually going to be able to maintain and stay with this group even though she's a lap down. You can see that she's not making it easy for Hagen. She still seemingly has some decent pace in that 98 engine. Hagen side by side is going to cruise by though. And no worse for the wear. He's going to continue on fighting for the win here tonight. So it's going to be fun with the new camera angles that I've found in the game, trying it out at a road course for the first time ever. The drone cam is really neat. It'll give us some fun angles to play with on different tracks. It'll actually probably allow us to have better cameras at tracks that have terrible cameras. I mean, like this one right here, if you go to TV1, you've got a terrible view of the infield through turns 3 and 4. One of the tracks I look most forward to will be Joe Gibbs International Raceway, the 7-mile Superspeedway fictional track that it seems like the only camera they have is focused primarily on the car. And it's like way too zoomed in and you can't see any of the racing action on track. So the drone cam is going to come in very handy when we go to JGIR. It'll actually improve the quality of that race tenfold. Oh, and there we go. Andrew Moger and Luis Rodriguez at risk of going a lap down here. Unless they get a caution with our lead group, and it could happen. You saw Hagen just make a tad of a touch there on Kyler Sustre. Alan Malcolm leading the way. Hagen in second. Ottawa in third. Sustre in fourth. Here we go, Hagen dipping down low. Hyundai putting on quite a clinic here in the first 2 races of the season. Hagen with the win in a Hyundai at the rallycross track. But then you got Hagen and Alan Malcolm both leading the way right now in a Hyundai. So perhaps Hyundai is going to have an edge on multiple track types. Seems like they're doing just fine on the super speedway as they were on the rallycross circuit. They were able to sort through the lap traffic there, and this lead pack is strong. It's really tight at the front of the field here. I'm impressed with the cast of characters that we've ended up with in the closing laps of this one. I do believe we'll have to see at least one more green flag pit stop, and that could be a huge determining factor on how this race might turn out. But ultimately, it's nice to know that their pit strategies all seem to kind of correspond with each other and allow them to stay within the lead top 10 here. So only time will tell. We'll see if we lose any more on any potential last green flag pit stops. Might surprise me. They might actually try to push the envelope and stretch the gas, and we could end up with a gas mileage race on it too. It's actually impressive. Ryan Little there in the 21. This is probably one of his best opportunities to have a good showing in the NASCAR world of racing. He's had a struggle within the truck series, jumping from rig to rig. But Trevor Walker, the owner of that number 21, well, actually, it would be Jordan Walker, his brother, as this is Jaw Drop Motorsports. So the two brothers obviously coordinate together. But to have those two as your team owners is huge. And it goes to show you just how much resources go in the series here. That 21 with a good shot at winning it here tonight. Ryan Little looking like a different driver out there with good equipment under him. And it's crazy to think that there's so many drivers that get cast to the graveyard because they never had an opportunity to prove themselves with good equipment under them. You can think of drivers like Elliott Sadler, maybe Justin Allgaier, or even like Todd Bodine. Some of those drivers that may not have had the best of equipment had all the opportunities to make it big in the Cup Series, but that just came short. So it's pretty neat to see Ryan Little doing good here. Hagen, on the other hand, just seems to be a prodigy when it comes to racing. Took to the trucks like a fish to water, and only in his first start here in Bridge to Cup put in victory lane. And perhaps what used to be the Al Bunch series, maybe it's going to turn into the John Hagen series. I'm pretty sure everyone remembers last year how dominant Al Bunch was. Stunk up the show, won the championship, and earned his full-time Cup ride. So obviously success here means that you're going to get graduated out. You know, it's nice to be successful, but at the same time, there's no defending a championship in the Bridge to Cup. It's all about making it up to Cup and then trying to defend your championships there. Which, impressively enough, in the Sylvania Cup Series, 14 years of existence, we have not had a repeat champion ever. Atlee Weiss made it 14 for 14 in 2023. That means we're under competition for the 14th year. It's funny how that works because 2010 was a 0 year. So 2010 technically counts as year 1. 2011 counted as year 2. But our 15th anniversary is going to come in 2025. So it's going to be above and beyond one of the most exciting seasons, hopefully, getting prepped for next year, basically this year, getting the hype behind it, trying to test and see what works, what doesn't this year, so that I can try to streamline it all into a basically complete and total hype ride. So down to 21 laps to go here, and it's really been a revolving door of late here at the closing lap. Still 10 cars fighting for the win here. Not as much lap traffic to fight with, so it's really going to come down to who makes the right chess moves here. Hagen pushes Hunt high. High is Hunt on the outside. Hagen in the middle. It's going to be hard to gain some momentum in that center line there. 24 Sestre holding up Hagen a little bit. Ottawa might be his best move to move down low here with the 48 in front of him. That 48 is a lap down car. We'll see where the remainder of our lap traffic is. It looks like they've settled in some pretty decent pace here. I don't think they're going to be at risk of going a lap down, but they're definitely not going to have a chance to fight for the win unless we get a caution. So 18 cars, 14 of which are on the lead lap. Still have more than half the field running. The excitement's going to start ramping up here as we're down to 16 laps to go now. Noah Hobson continues to look like the top dog right now as he keeps finding his way to the lead. Hagen has been having a little bit of a struggle, but perhaps that is by plan. Not wanting to get too far up to the front and cost himself too much momentum. Kind of staying in the mid pack there and taking what he can and giving what he can just to stay within the top 5 there. Scott Speed leads the way. Braden Hunt right behind him. Alan Malcolm up high there. Cat Durham just chilling in the back as he's been most of the night here. There we go. Kyle Ottawa down to the bottom. Braden Hunt with a push by Kyler Sestre. That might force him 3 wide for the lead, but it doesn't. Open green flag pit stop. So the first, like last time, was the 95 of Scott Speed. And this is it's gonna work itself out. We should be with about 5 laps to go, everyone else rejoining the track. Scott Speed obviously has something figured out on being a solo car pit stop. It also seems like the lead's kind of destabilized here as you've got a lot of gaps. So the draft is kind of upset for the moment. That's going to significantly help Scott Speed, as he might not lose near as much momentum to the leaders here. But with green flag pit stops, that could still open up Pandora's box for potential caution in the closing laps here. They've been playing nice and minding their P's and Q's so far towards the second half of the race, as we haven't seen a caution since the south side of 75. See if we have any more takers for pit road here shortly. Doesn't look like we've got any takers this lap. So it'll be 12 laps to go this time. Triangle formation there, as we've got 3, 2, and 1. It's impressive too how Alan Malcolm is so far ahead there, and he doesn't seem to be losing any momentum. Okay, Hagen making his pit stop this time. Hagen, lone soldier on that pit stop, could be problematic. Alan Malcolm still leading, this time over Ryan Little and Kyler Sustre. Then you've got Noah Hobson and Braden Hunt fighting for position. Luis Rodriguez is a lap down. Kyle Ottawa, GP Luxembourg, and Kat Durham. Remainder of the cars not yet to pit. Not gonna have any more takers this lap, except for, it looked like Kyle Ottawa pulls off. So Ottawa making his last pit stop, 11 laps to go. There's no way that any of these guys have saved 10 laps of fuel. They're gonna have to come down pit road here before the end. And it's very interesting. I think a lot of it comes down to this pit window, that they lose the draft and start to destabilize. That allows for the likes of Scott Speed or even a John Hagen to stay relevant with their pace. Another taker. We're down to 5. And Kat Durham, so 6 that have yet to pit. Wow, Kat Durham has lost a tremendous amount of pace there. That's gonna be tough to recover for him. For the 5, it looks like Noah Hobson continuing to stay out here with 8 laps to go. Wow, John Hagen, in a strange turn of circumstances here, actually joins in with the second group. And that could help really well. Look at, there's the 84 of GP Luxembourg rejoining the track. So John Hagen with drafting help all the way around the track right now. Down to, yeah, there's the rest of them rejoining the track. Hagen with a good draft here. Some dancing partners that are definitely on the slower side, but it kept him from losing too much momentum. And there's the 21 of Ryan Little, who's going to lose some ground there. Kyle Ottawa in the mix here. Hagen better, yep, he's going to drop, and he's going to get back up here with Braden Hunt. And I believe that's the 1, or no, that's the 6. The 6 of Cat Durham. And the 4 of Braden Hunt. So these two way out front right now rejoin the track. But, ooh, Noah Hobson. Did he run out of gas at all? Is the question. How hard did he stretch it? Okay, so he made a quick stop down pit road. Just a quick gas and go. Didn't go for tires, just went for the gas and go strategy. And he's going to rejoin the track with the lead. Noah Hobson playing the strategy game here in his favor. Rejoins with a significant distance over the rest, but that draft is going to come back and haunt him here. Noah Hobson's going to get under attack here from the number 1. Alan Malcolm fighting for the lead now, as we're down to 6 laps to go this time by. What was 9? It looks like we're down to about 8 cars for the win here, as they're lined up 2 by 2 by 2, just trying to catch back up to each other. Hagen's in the mix. Hobson's in the mix. Sustray's in the mix. We could be setting up for a real nail-biter of a finish here. Hagen to P1. They're going to get 4 laps to go this time by. But it's really anyone's game. Yep, just to give you a quick update on Ossiel, it seems that the strategies have kind of knocked him out of contention for the win. But he's still out there running, still in contention for a potential top 10 or top 15 finish, depending on how the dominoes fall. And yeah, so right now it's up to Hagen fighting with Kyle Ottawa, Braden Hunt, Noah Hobson, Kyler Sustray, and even Alan Malcolm. Hagen's holding that lead right now. Things are going to get interesting here. As they catch up to lap traffic, this could be a game changer as well. Noah Hobson right there behind Hagen. He's going to go down low, take the lead away from Hagen. 3 laps left in the race here. 8 cars still fighting for the win. They're double file the lap traffic here. This could... Oh, it's going to be hard for Hagen. He took the wrong line and he's going to get trapped up high here. Needs to find a quick opening with only 2 laps to go. That might have been the wrong move to make on Hagen's part. Still 2 laps. There's enough time for them to rebound here and figure out that draft at the front is going to get dampered a little bit since the rest of the cars got sucked away from them. Alan Malcolm taking the lead now from Noah Hobson. Kyler Sestre in the middle there in 3rd. Braden Hunt. Kyle Ottawa with a solid top 5 on his horizon. Don't count Hagen out. They're going to get the white flag in another lap. This will still be the 2 to go segment here. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Not the white flag yet. More lap traffic really going to mix up the end result of this race. Alan Malcolm diving low here. Going to take position. Going to take authority here. Hagen needs to stay low this time. Do not take the high side and get snookered. There we go. They're bunched up. 5 cars on the inside of the 1. Hagen's going to give him a push. This is going to be the benefit of the draft here, giving them significant boost to get by the 1. The 1 sitting duck on the outside. Ooh, Braden Hunt dipping down low on Kyler Sestre. Sestre is going to get hung out to dry, as now it's Kyle Ottawa in the catbird seat here. He's going to take it and try to move on the inside of the 4. Braden Hunt, a quick lapse in judgment there, allowed for the 81 to get the lead. Noah Hobson and John Hagen right behind Ottawa here. Hobson, ooh, he's going low. It doesn't look like he's going to cut below the yellow line. It's going to be a good finish nonetheless. Hagen gets stuck up high here. That's a mistake, as the 90, a lap down car of Jamie Horseman, mixing it up with the leaders here. Jamie Horseman actually might have just given that win to Noah Hobson, as that's allowed for Hobson to cruise away to get the checkered flag here today. The first time ever that Noah Hobson has won in the series. He's been at it since 2022, this year in the number 22 for Trackhouse B. So that's impressive, given the 22 a race-winning result here today. Man, if only the lap car didn't sneak in there and spoil the run there, we could have seen a potential photo finish there. But kudos to the 22, Noah Hobson. He definitely earned it. He put up a lot of lead laps here tonight, leading probably close to the lead most. Let's watch that one more time in slow motion, coming out of turn 4. Yep, Jamie Horseman just cost the other guys a shot at the win here today, as they were 3 wide for second. It looks like the one, perhaps the one of Alan Malcolm to get second. So the photo finish really was for second here, as Kyle Ottawa gets just edged out by John Hagen. Alan Malcolm with a solid second. Wait, they gave Alan Malcolm third? No way, Hagen couldn't have been second. Was it that close? Wow. Man, a matter of inches. Would you look at that? We'll try to see just how close this was with the drone cam. Yeah, by the looks of it, John Hagen definitely has a bit of a nose here. But not by much. Holy cow. See, this is nice. I can actually do check-ins like this now during the race to actually see photo finish material up close and personal. Might even be worthy of some screenshots for some folks if they want a background image on their computer or phone. But that was simply just the edge of the nose. Both Hyundais nose to nose. So there's no advantage to one car or the other. They are the exact same model. Hagen gets second place by paper thin margin there. Kyle Ottawa comes home fourth. Sestre in fifth. Braden Hunt in sixth. Seventh was Kat Durham in eighth. GP Luxembourg. The rest of the field looks like Ryan Little with a ninth. Scott Speed with a 10th, and Osiel Escobar finishes on the lead lap, coming home in 11th. But the night belongs to Noah Hobson. So, and who knows, with a finish like that, perhaps that could catapult him to a one-off start tomorrow and Saturday for the Daytona 500. So we'll have to stay tuned on that, see how he does. If he actually gets a ride, or if he's going to just watch as a spectator. But I do think we found our Daytona track. This one seems to provide us with some good action, some great exciting racing, and not completely a wreck fest. So there's many perks to this track already. Two of 30. Two hours and 20 minutes, the total distance in this race tonight. Noah Hobson bringing home his first ever victory in NASR competition. 0.22, 0.22 between Hagen and Malcolm, so they were like dead split. So that's a wrap for tonight, folks. It was an exciting race. It was a long race. Just kind of a typical endurance race, though. We get a little bit of those once in a while. And then we got the duels for tomorrow. So we'll see how the Cup side of things turns out going forward. I think we really started to see who's got an edge here in the Bridge to Cup and who's the ones to watch out for going forward, as we'll be tackling a road course on the schedule next. So hopefully you guys can tune in tomorrow and see the duels for Daytona and get excited and get hyped up for our Sylvania Cup Series Daytona 500 on Saturday. So many thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Stay safe out there. And as always, looking forward to the next one.